So when it comes to explaining the Trinity, a lot of us Christians tend to not properly express what the Trinity is. And actually explaining the Trinity can be a little bit complex. Um, but there's a lot of things there's a lot of wrong ways to explain it, and there's some better ways of explaining it. And a lot of times, what I've seen Christians do, including myself at one point, is that we use analogies that point towards more of a modalistic perspective, which is heretical. And not just modalistic, but there's a lot of analogies that tend to point to parts of God. And so, like the water, steam, ice thing, the 1 + 1 + 1, all those are parts or modalistic ways of expressing the Trinity. And I think one of the closest way, it's not the perfect way. And don't get me wrong, I don't think there's really any or even ever going to be a perfect way of explaining the Trinity. But one of the closest ways I've heard to explain the Trinity as its most biblical sense is, I believe it comes from the Orthodox um, perspective. And I think it's one of the closest that I've heard. And that is the act of the voice. So you have the Father, who is the speech, right? The speech of your voice. Then you have the Son, who is the word, the Logos, the words that are coming out, right? And then you have the Holy Spirit, which is the Ruach, which is the breath, the breath that comes out on the act of the voice. So then you have three distinct persons, three distinct things, but the one act of the voice, the one act of speech. So you have, in the same sense, the Trinity. You have one being, one essence, one substance, but three distinct persons. And so that's probably one of the closest things, the closest analogies that I've heard of being able to express, to explain the Trinity. And I hope this helps.